He's still got the smell of the academy on him. That mixture of starch, gun oil, and the unearned confidence that comes with a 4.0 in constitutional law. When you hold that badge for the first time, it feels heavy, not just physically, but morally. It's a physical manifestation of a promise you made to yourself. I will be the one who doesn't change. I will be the exception. But the badge isn't a shield. It's a mirror. And over the next 20 years, that mirror is going to distort until the person looking back at you is someone you'd have arrested. On your first day, most people think corruption happens in a single, cinematic moment. A bag of cash in a dark alley. A deal with a kingpin. But that's the Hollywood lie. Real rot is quiet. It's boring. It's a series of level-ups where you traded your soul for teamwork, efficiency, and survival. If you want to understand why the system is broken, you have to stop looking at the end result and start looking at the staircase. Chapter 1. The Cult of the Comrade. The Academy teaches you the law. The street teaches you that the law is a suggestion. I remember the first time I saw the Kowalski effect. You go to a domestic call. You're ready to use your de-escalation techniques. You've practiced the I statements and the calm tone. Then your partner walks in and just pounds on the door. He doesn't ask. He commands. He doesn't empathize. He intimidates. And here's the thing that nobody talks about. It works. In the short term, the drunk stops yelling. The victim goes quiet. The chaos is contained. In that moment, your 24 weeks of training feel like a fairy tale. You realize that the peace you're keeping isn't based on justice. It's based on who has the bigger stick. The first real test isn't a shootout. It's a report. Your partner roughed someone up. Maybe they didn't deserve it, or maybe they did, but the paperwork needs to reflect the reality of the danger. Kowalski looks at you. He doesn't even have to say it. If you write the truth, you're the guy who rats. And then a job where you need a partner to watch your back while you're walking into a dark basement. Being a rat is a death sentence. I've seen good men spend hours agonized over a single paragraph. They know that if they lie, they've crossed a line, but if they don't, they're alone. And humans are biologically wired to fear being alone more than we fear being wrong. So, you write the lie. You justify it. The guy was a scumbag anyway. You tell your soul. That's level 1. You didn't take money. You didn't hurt anyone. You just traded your honesty for a sense of belonging. You think it's a one-time deal? You're wrong. You just bought a ticket to the next floor. Chapter 2. The Gratuity Trap. By year 5, you're off probation. You're a street cop. This is the stage where the market of favors begins. Most people call it a bribe. We call it appreciation. The local bodega owner gives you a free sandwich. The bar owner slides you a side note at Christmas. They aren't asking for anything specific. They just want you to keep an eye on the place. I used to think I was above it. Then I realized how much it costs to live on a civil servant's salary. You see the drug dealers with the shoes you can't afford. You see the city councilmen with the cars your kids will never sit in. You start to feel like the city owes you a tax for your service. But nobody talks about this moment. The system actually requires you to be a little bit dirty, to be effective. If you arrested every person for every minor infraction, the courts would collapse. So you learn to negotiate. You take a dealer's stash and let him go in exchange for information on someone bigger. You keep half the cash because, well, the department's budget for equipment is a joke and your kid needs braces. You're not a criminal, you tell yourself. You're a functional realist. You're still catching the bad guys. You're just taking a commission. But notice what happened to the law. It's no longer a set of rules for everyone. It's a tool you own. You've stopped being a servant of the law and started being its landlord. Chapter 3. Noble cause corruption. Then you make detective. This is the big leagues. This is where the stakes change from keeping the peace to closing the case. In the narcotics division, the pressure is immense. The stats have to move. Their bosses want kilos and kingpins. But the bad guys don't follow the rules of evidence. This is where you meet noble cause corruption. This isn't about greed. It's about a warped sense of morality. You know, the guy killed that girl. You know, he's got 5 kilos in the trunk. but you didn't have probable cause to open the trunk. So, what do? You find the probable cause. You say you smelled marijuana. You say he made a furtive movement. You plant a drop piece, a small baggie of white powder juiced, to make sure the search is legal. I've looked into the eyes of detectives who have done this. They don't feel like villains. They feel like heroes. They've decided that the ends are so righteous that the means don't matter. But once you start lying for a good cause, you lose the ability to tell where the good ends. The noble cause is the ultimate trap because it allows you to maintain your good person identity while doing evil person things. If the police suddenly started following every rule, the entire criminal justice system of the United States would stop moving by Monday morning. Chapter 4. The Architect of the Skin. You've made Sergeant. You don't walk a beat anymore. You don't kick down doors. Your weapon isn't a Glock. It's a red pen. Your job now is management. But what are you managing? You're managing the skin of the department. You're the one who decides which internal affairs complaints get investigated and which ones get filed. At this level, you've become the immune system of the corruption. You aren't necessarily doing the dirty work yourself anymore. Why? Because if one guy goes down, the whole unit goes down. If the unit goes down, your career is over. You use corporate speak to sanitize the fact that you're shielding thugs. You tell yourself you're doing it for the greater good. We started with a shiny badge and a starchy uniform. We ended with a man who is the very thing he swore to fight. The tragedy of the pipeline isn't that people are inherently evil. It's that the system is a machine designed to consume human empathy. So, here's the question. If the only way to be successful is to participate in this moral erosion, is it even possible to have a good force? I want to hear from you in the comments. Is there a level 6? Or does the staircase just go down forever?